All right.
All right. If you want to hear the intro, you're gonna have to listen to the podcast. If you're
We've
watching
been
live,
recording for like a half hour. You're SOL. Are you gonna tweet out a link or anything?
it's already been tweeted out. That's why
What?
IRC'd out.
I IRC'd it. I didn't tweet it out. I'm busy, man. Only the people in IRC really matter. Okay,
So we
what
did
were we
have-
talking about? Doom and gloom.
We did have one person who noticed the lack of episodes last week,
Who was that?
and friend of the show, Clayton Stone.
Clayton. Amazing.
And he was upset because
myth,
he didn't
the
get his dose of cryptocurrency news.
We have some cryptocurrency
So-
news this week too.
Oh, we've got some great cryptocurrency news. I mean, first off is the obvious. Bitcoin just blowing through the roof. 7,800 was the high for the week.
Wow.
Right now, sitting at 7,200-ish.
Nice.
Ethereum sitting nice and stable at 300, never moving, never twitching, never showing any sign of growth or loss. But there's an interesting
Still
thing.
new.
Interesting thing happened on the Ethereum network this week. You ever?
Is that how you're gonna categorize it as quote unquote interesting?
Yeah. You ever like fuck up something and then panic and try to recover from it and end up fucking things up way worse?
All the time.
Every day of my life.
Like I had a time where like I accidentally updated all of the columns instead of just one record on a database entry, and
It's better
in my
than
panic,
deleting them all.
well, in my panic, I deleted
done
them
that.
all. Yeah. So that was the thing, is that it was the rare double fuck up where you panic and then make things much worse. So a young tinkerer was playing around with some Ethereum wallets, some just basic Ethereum code, a wallet called Parity. Parity made sure that you had to sort of double opt to spend out of the wallet, and he found a vulnerability that closed the double opt and turned it into a single opt normal wallet and assigned it to him. So, realizing what he had just done, accidentally stealing $300 million, he immediately jumped and accidentally permanently locked all the wallets so that nobody had access and the money was permanently just stuck in the ether.
Stuck in his account? Like he still has
No.
access to it?
Nobody's account. Nobody has access to it. Nobody can get access to it. It is just there forever and can never be recovered.
So that brings up an interesting point. If they know that it's there, and we have the blockchain showing all the transactions, why can't they be reversed?
Because that would require a hard fork. So that would
that doesn't
require, that would require someone basically saying, here is a manually written command to release all of these wallets that we're going to inject into the blockchain without being verified by 51%. Because programmatically in Ethereum, everything just sort of works itself out. It says, do you have permission to send it? Then send it. Do you have permission to receive it? Then receive it. Is the transaction complete? Then complete the transaction. But if no one has permission to send it, then it can never get sent. So they would have to inject a block that said, here's all the money back where it should be, which is a hard fork. And people are very against this hard fork. And it's
Is it really a
I'm
hard
gonna say,
fork, or could they get it?
It would be a
can
hard-
they do it?
It would be a hard fork because blocks are self-signing with the header of the block matching the hash of the previous block. So that's how you get the chaining functionality.
Mhm.
In order to inject a block, you would have to create a chain that was running simultaneously parallel to the existing chain, and then you'd have to get 51% of people to swap over to the new chain with the modified block in it.
Hmm.
So it is a hard fork. Even though it's a simple code execution, just saying point to this chain instead of that chain, you would still have to get everyone to do it. So the founder creator of Ethereum, Vitalik, is being intentionally quiet, but stated that he does not support a hard fork and that sometimes people lose money.
$300
But
million. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's real bad. The one that happened before this, the DAO, which did get a hard fork, was $150 million. So this is twice as big as the DAO hard fork. But it doesn't look like the community is supporting hard forking. It looks like whoever lost their money is not powerful enough to get it back. Which it's unfortunate.
Now, is this
Really,
because
that's
unfortunate.
is this because DAO is a big corporate conglomerate versus this being a bunch of little peons that may have, a few coins here and there?
This is because the
Totaling up to
DAO,
300?
Vitalik says that the DAO was in the infancy of the currency and that a hard fork was more viable at that point in time. And the currency for the DAO was intended to fund the development of Ethereum. So it essentially would have killed the project if the fork hadn't occurred to recover from the DAO hack.
So when did this happen?
This happened 3 days ago.
And there wasn't a big price drop in Ethereum? That's surprising.
Well, oddly enough, if you look at the economic laws of supply and demand, Ethereum went up about $20.
Gotcha.
So it's another coding error in a smart contract that has backfired, and it's looking like smart contracts need something else because they're not doing great right now.
It's gonna make it hard for people to start to trust them if this kind of thing keeps happening.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like how can you expect the general public to have any faith in this system if this happens and it's kind of like, well, hey, shit happens. People lose money.
Well, I mean, that's why we are considered bleeding edge users, is because we're putting ourselves out there on the line, and we're continuing to invest after losses are being made like that. Trust is only part of the currency now. Trust was the early value setter for these currencies, but it's no longer the sole value setter. There's so much ownership now that value is just inherent to the existence of the coins. So much so that, get this, there's a company in the UK called Online PLC. They recently changed their name from Online PLC to Online Blockchain or Online Bitcoin. Let me get the exact name.
Blockchain.
Online Blockchain PLC. On the news that they were changing their name, their shares jumped 394%.
And do they have anything to do with the blockchain?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the big thing, is that these guys do a lot of network technology stuff already. They're already involved in blockchain stuff as part of their business model, but they are focusing on blockchain technology now, which I think people are willing to invest in, as we've seen. And another thing, the same thing has happened with a Colorado firm named Bioptics. They nearly doubled their value when they changed their name to Riot Blockchain Inc. So it'll be cool to work for Diego Dev Blockchain soon. I'm excited.
You know what I'm excited about? Wave PHP.
Ooh.
I'm hearing more and more from people who are starting to like almost plan vacations around the conference, and I am so stoked to hear that. There's been a couple of people I've gotten feedback from who are just like, oh yeah, you know, we're just coming to San Diego now. It's like we're definitely whether you guys have the conference, we are having the conference, not whether we have it or not. But it's like we're coming, So I'm getting excited, getting really excited, and you know we've been holding off for a long time on the call for papers, and you know we'll probably do it early next year, and as we're winding down this year, it's like, oh dude, we have to start putting together the call for paper site. We gotta start doing this stuff. I'm really getting stoked.
Actually, I had a big meeting today on some new tooling that we get to use behind the scenes to hold the event. So looking forward to getting that kind of set up and going.
Yeah, I saw you guys had an open source call for papers application you guys referenced.
OpenCFP?
Yeah.
That's Grumpy's. Yeah. He just did a big revamp of that, actually.
You guys going to be using that?
Probably.
Probably for the call for papers we will. Yeah. So we're
just haven't got it set up yet.
Yeah. Yeah, looking forward to it, man. Really looking forward to it. I'm starting to get excited. We still haven't tried to get sponsors yet, which I'm not even sure why we haven't done that yet. We've already put the packages together and just haven't
sent it to a couple of people, right? We just haven't really pushed to find potential sponsors.
Yeah.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
We've actually had people joining our mailing list on the site. So that's nice to see.
There's a mailing list?
Yeah, if you go to wavephp.com, you can sign up for the mailing list. We're not sending much to it. I keep telling Eric we don't want to spam everybody. It's like as we have updates, we'll send them out.
Not like with Twitter.
Apparently sending San Diego fun facts to the mailing list, is shunned upon by John. Whatever.
They are getting more fun. I'll say that.
Yeah, but to John's point, yeah, we just kind of put together so that when we do the call for papers,
bye, Thomas.
Yeah, so we did put together the mailing list. So when we put together the call for papers, anybody who's interested will be notified. If they don't follow Twitter or the many other streams, we'll push out to. But yeah, we're definitely not looking to spam people. Just giving everybody an opportunity to get notifications as we start to announce things, especially when we start to announce the end of the Blind Bird early bird pricing, which I think is going to happen soon. And so if anybody's interested, you want to get that rock bottom price, you should, and you're coming out to San Diego anyways, you should really consider the Blind Bird pricing, because when that's gone, it's gone, and it's going.
Yeah, it's going. But if your company is willing to help, you can't do a full sponsorship, but you want to help us out anyway, you can also purchase the full price ticket now. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm hoping that these SD fun facts get a little more detailed now that Twitter has support for 280 characters.
Meh.
Does it really? I didn't realize that.
Oh, cool. Cool.
That was the lamest 280 character tweet I've ever seen.
Not true.
No?
I saw one that was just screaming.
That I've seen.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Let me get the burns in when I can.
We have a little competition in the realm of conferences next year. However, I guess Vue.js is going to have a U.S. conference. Did you guys see this?
A U.S. conference?
I think it's called vueconf.us. Very close, but yeah. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously there's a huge following, a huge user base of Vue people here in the U.S. So they're holding theirs in New Orleans. They're doing. I think I'm not sure. Are they the guys who are doing the conference where you can actually tag on? Yeah. Check this out. So if you go to vueconf.us, they're actually tagging their conference onto other conferences. So it's like, hey, our conference is the 27th through the 28th, and then JazzCon, jazzcon.tech is the 21st through the 23rd. Oh wait, 21st through the 23rd, and then Connect.tech is the 17th through the 19th. So you can actually buy these combo packs.
Wow.
I like that. That's interesting.
You like that?
Yeah. I'd love to be in Louisiana for a month in the middle of March.
Yeah, that is, I guess that's a point to be made there. Yeah.
So the conference itself, so you're buying tickets to jazzcon.tech and the conference for $1,300, or
right.
Connect Tech and vueconf.us.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. I assume there's a discount there. I mean, I know that's less than half of what the conference price is for.
They're charging $600 just for their workshop day. Wow.
No, you must be reading that wrong.
No, I'm not reading that wrong.
For the conference.
And then conference plus workshop, adding one day is $1,300.
I think that's early bird pricing for the individual.
No. I think they messed up because it's the same price.
Wow, yeah, that's $600.
That can't be right. Nah, that can't be right, can it?
It's what they're doing. Or instead of doing the workshop, you can add on jazzcon.tech or connect.tech for $600. So Wave PHP is a steal. Get your tickets now.
No. We really need to jack those prices up, John. I don't know what are we charging for Wave? What's the Blind Bird?
$6,000.
You're $6,000. The Blind Bird is going for a mere $275, and that includes the extra day, the workshop day. $200. Are we really just charging $200 for a conference ticket? We've got to cancel. Listen, if you're listening to this podcast, you really, really should buy these Blind early bird prices, because this shit's going up here real soon. Real soon. I'm telling you that right now. $200. They're charging $695 for Vue. That's like one thing.
They're charging $1,300 for the workshop plus conference for 3 days, and we're charging $275. I think we messed up on our pricing for sure.
Really don't know what we're doing.
They're in Louisiana. We're in SoCal. Much nicer to come here.
Just saying. Kidding.
You can go flying a paraglider here. Can't do that in Louisiana.
Whoa. Save it for the tweets.
What? You're a tweet.
Nasty fun fact.
We have Lego paraglider. We have. There will be roller coasters at our conference. Well, not at our conference, but
walking distance from our conference. You can ride a roller coaster.
Barely walking distance. Yeah.
And they haven't killed anybody in like 20 years.
Yeah. Come get drunk
I
with
would
us, walk a
honestly,
mile.
looking at these two conferences, I would honestly probably come to San Diego before going to New Orleans, just because it's San Diego. And there's so much to do around here. Yeah. For $200? Are you kidding me? But again, if your company's paying, we really would like you to pay the $475.
I got a bone to pick, guys.
Hey, no, me. Go ahead.
No.
Pick my bone.
No, you have a question. That's faster than a bone to pick.
Question for you. So, what do you consider a senior developer versus intermediate, junior? What's the difference in your opinion?
Early 50s, maybe 60.
It's an age thing. We just had this conversation on Larachat, actually.
Did you really? I should listen to that show sometime.
Yeah.
It's not very good.
Because
ever since they added this new guy.
We brought up the whole paradox of, you may be a senior developer at your little 3-man shop, but would you really be a senior developer at a web agency that has like 30 developers there? So yeah, that's a good question. I would be interested to hear how you guys differentiate a senior developer from a junior developer, even a mid-level developer. What are those breakpoints with you guys?
Yes, there's obviously not a test to say this is where you're at. Most of us give ourselves the title. We know we're just starting out. We're junior. We have some experience. We're intermediate. Oh, we've been doing it for a few years. We're senior, right? But I've been given it. Good.
I've always experienced senior developers as people who achieved the position as part of a raise or a pay grade change. Where
that's, again, that's subjective.
It is subjective, but it's not a title. It's not a title that I gave myself. It's a title that I've earned through the sake of another company, and I can repeat it on my resume. Right. In the sense that when I was hired on as a junior developer for my last junior position, I was there for some time and had a sit-down meeting, and they said, senior developer does this and does this and does this and gets this much money. Do you want to be a senior developer? And I said, what are the other options? And they said, well, a manager gets much more money and doesn't do coding. And I said, okay, senior developer sounds great. And the next job I had after that sort of confirmed that I was qualified as a senior developer. And so now it's just that I am a senior developer because I've been paid to do it. I've been paid for the position. But at the same time, in my current position, I don't do a lot of senior developer stuff. I have a very hands-on CTO, and he does a lot of the work that I would.
Handsy.
What? No, whoa. You can't say that in this environment.
Absolutely can. I just did.
Oh, yeah.
Were you not listening?
Yeah. He makes a lot of the decisions and does a lot of the.
Does that mean you're not a senior developer anymore?
I am a senior developer.
Yeah.
But
all right, John, what's your take on it?
So I've never had a quote unquote junior developer role. I just haven't. The way I progressed through my career, it was always I was either the person or I gave myself the title. So take that. I've never been given it by pay. But one of our clients, the one I started out with when I moved to San Diego, they always pride themselves on hiring senior developers. And
only?
That's always been their thing because they're a fully remote company. They want people that can manage their own time, and they say they only hire senior developers. But they've recently hired 3 guys that happen to be from the PHP community. You know, I vouched for one of them, and then the other 2 came on, and you could tell a big difference between these people and other developers just in the way that they bring ideas to the table. So to me, a senior developer is one that they get things done, but they also try to help improve things through expertise versus a task monkey. Tell me what I need to do and I do it. To me, that's more junior intermediate.
One of the things I do a lot as a senior developer is evaluate technology for my CTO. So my CTO will say, hey, we're looking at this. Come back to me in a day and tell me what you think. Mm-hmm. Or I'll be the one who's running test branches that has some new technology integrated into it and then showing it off to him once it's implemented, because I have a greater understanding of the fundamentals of object-oriented relationships and how to just quickly bind a new API into an existing system. I don't have to dig around forever because I know our system. But I also, like I was saying, I don't do some of the senior roles like establishing standards. I think establishing coding standards is the role of the senior developer. And approving those standards is the job of the CTO. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I don't do a lot of communication with the front end developers where I say, hey, you guys don't use this style when you're doing this, use this style instead because it creates a blocking issue on my end or on other people's ends. It's more like I just complain to my boss about things I run into and he gets on everyone else's case about it.
But you're bringing the ideas to him so that
so you're a passive aggressive senior developer. I like John's explanation better. Yeah. John's because I think that's because that's the differentiator to me is to say you're a senior developer because somebody gave you that title is like me saying I'm a CTO. Yeah, I'm a CTO. I own the freaking company.
You gave you that title.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a CTO. No, it's not. There's not a difference. Somebody giving you a title is just that. Somebody calling you something. Me calling myself a CTO is just as big of a joke as me calling myself a senior developer.
No, but it is, especially when you're in a small company. Because in my previous life, I was a CTO, a CIO. In reality, I wasn't any of those things, but it was a small company. I could really have any title I wanted.
Well, I'll give you the best example I have. I asked for a raise at one company, and they said, we cannot give you that raise because it's more than the manager makes. So in order to give you the raise that you want, we would have to change your job title and position. And then we could give you that raise because our org chart states that you can't make more than the person above you. So you'd have to be in a new position where you're not above them, you're alongside them. Mm-hmm. And,
right. and there's
still somebody giving you a title.
Right, but it's also giving you the work that it entails too. They're adding the additional work of being a senior developer. They required me to be more interactive with the other developers.
That's just a corporate structure. I mean, that's a corporate structure, and that's my point. I think the differentiator of a true senior developer is more in line with what John said. It's not the titles that's been bestowed upon them. It's how they work. It's how they address problems. It's how they code. It's how they interact with people. And that's really that magic sauce of saying, okay, this is more than just a developer. This guy, this person, this individual is a level above. Good They've catch. Leveled up. Thank you. and we see it every day. I mean, we see it within our own organization. There's people who would just do the tasks that have been assigned to them, and they struggle kind of being off on their own. And then we have others who, we couldn't run without them at this point. It's like not only are they managing projects, but they're looking down the road. They're implementing solutions. They're coming to us. I'm no longer the bottleneck where I'm sitting there saying, okay, I want to look at this technology. Let's put this here. Let's try this here. Let's move it. I'm not the only person doing that anymore. I have people coming to me saying, hey, I've been looking at this. I've been playing with this. Sometimes my man Kalen doesn't even ask permission anymore. He just sends me a message, said, "Hey, I did this." I'm like, "Okay, how much is that going to cost me?" But those are the differentiators. Those are the senior developers. Unfortunately, we have a lot of them within our group, but we've also had some who definitely didn't match up to that level. And there is, I think.
But
John's
did you take the title away from them when they didn't fit it?
We don't have titles.
We don't really have titles.
Well, yeah, you don't even have employees.
True.
Oh, this is true.
But I've been in an enterprise, like real straight up enterprise structure, where you weren't just a software developer. You were software developer 2 PHP spec, software developer 3 admin, software developer 3 desktop. I mean,
and that's
like the title
structure.
Right. In small and medium corporations, it's an ego stroke to be senior administrator. You get to laud your power over other people. It has a functional effect as well. When someone says, "I'm the senior administrator" or "I'm the senior developer," then the juniors know, listen closely. But in a corporate environment, you can just go on monster.com and look up network administration, and you'll see that network administration for a corporate environment, for a real enterprise company, isn't just network administrator, senior network administrator. There's network admin 1, 2, and 3, network admin senior 1, 2, and 3. Those titles
there's a lot of
history of responsibilities.
There's a lot of reasons why there's that structure, especially for bigger corporations. Some of it, depending on what state you're in, it could be a union issue. I've worked in states before where we've been part of a union, and it's a very strict structure where it says, okay, this person, if they start, they cannot be above this level. They cannot earn more than this much money, and everybody on this level earns this much, and everybody on this level earns this much. And it was this weird thing where you kind of knew what everybody made based on what level they were at, which is kind of weird because
the Navy's the same way. If you're an E-17, everyone knows exactly how much you take home.
Right, and so sometimes there's reasons behind that structure. And again, it falls in place with the whole anointing somebody a title of some sort. It's just kind of ambiguous to whatever organization you're working for at that time. But there's no real, okay, well, you say you were the CTO of this company, so you are now a CTO in the real world. It's like, no, not really. I think John's opened my eyes to this a lot. I mean, what to look for more when interacting with developers.
I think it has a lot to do with resume fodder. If someone is a CTO at a previous company and says that you can contact them, then you know that they've at least done the job of CTO at that company. If they say you can't contact that company,
that job varies from company to company.
Sure, but if it's a bank, it doesn't really vary that much.
Well, we're not talking banks. We're talking about dev jobs.
Yeah, it's any dev job. I mean, if I'm working for Motorola, if I was working for Qualcomm,
just concede. Say, John, you win this one.
Well, I don't, because it brings me to my bone to pick.
Okay, pick my bone.
First, I'm going to refresh my beverage.
Every week, I just want to end the show so I can go to bed. I'm so tired.
And he walks away. It's like, have your beverage with you if you need to refresh it.
Or just get a big one like that. That's all you got to do.
This JFK Files release, is this an old story, right?
I don't know.
It's yours.
Yeah, but it's mine?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I moved it. Thomas added it.
This is back in October. Archive.
Yeah.
It's gone. Oh shit, he's back.
Everyone pop open the 2017 Laravel survey.
Is this are we picking bones here?
This is my bone to pick.
You're gonna make me put my glasses back on. Plus America. All right.
This survey is self-contradicting on so many levels. But my biggest one...
I just catcalled Eric. I might have to get kicked off the show.
House of Cards, at
least.
Let's
not piss off the Laravel community any more than we have on past shows, man.
I don't want to piss off the Laravel community, but I also...
But you can't help yourself.
That's very true.
All right, what do you got?
One of the questions I asked here is, what size Laravel projects do you work on? 1,600 said medium, 500 said small, and 624 said enterprise. You're fucking wrong. You are wrong. That project that you were working on is not an enterprise project. There are not 624 enterprise instances of Laravel out in the wild.
So,
let alone 624 people that responded to the survey.
You really need to give breaks so people can interject questions,
I really
Thomas.
Don't. This brings up problems we've had with Laravel and Enterprise in the past.
The question is
back to the same conversation we just had of senior versus not.
Yeah, the question is, are these 625 Laravel projects that have been deployed in an enterprise environment? I think is kind of...
What size Laravel projects do you work on?
I understand
624 people said enterprise.
So is that like a large project? I mean, I don't understand how enterprise equates to a size.
Well, there isn't a large. There is small, medium, and enterprise. I would say I work on a large project.
I'm an enterprise type of guy.
The website I work for. Gonna get charges against you. I would say the project I work on.
Double jeopardy. I can't get charged twice for the same crime. Wait, is that how that works?
No, it's different instances every time.
Okay.
Anyway,
I work on a large project.
I'm not sure what an enterprise size project is.
My company takes in millions of dollars. My company serves tens of thousands of customers, hundreds of thousands of page hits a day, massive amounts of data. But I would never call what we do an enterprise project because it's not an enterprise project. I went to an open source meetup this week where the presentation was on Ansible. And I asked him, so what is the scale for Ansible? Where do you guys start seeing users deploying? Because I'm at a smaller company that's only running 10, 15 servers total. And in a room of 20 people, everyone stared at me and went, no, that's not what this is for. Ansible starts at 500 servers at the lowest level. You're supporting...
Not true.
Sorry, Ansible Tower, the Red Hat premium GUI.
The enterprise implementation of Ansible.
Right. So I asked them at this meetup, what is enterprise to you? And they said, if it's less than 500 servers, you're not enterprise.
Yeah. That is, again, we've had this conversation in the past. That's equating enterprise with some sort of size metrics. And I don't know if I agree
500
with
micro instances on AWS. Is that enterprise now?
Exactly. To me,
yes, you needed 500 micro instances.
So back to your question: is your company or your website, is it dependent for its operations, its day-to-day operations? Is it dependent on any outside vendors, with the exception of like a hosting provider? Obviously, that's an outside vendor, but like your database, do you have some sort of support contract in place with Oracle, or do you have things like that, or is it just...
We have a couple.
you might be taking advantage of some services, but your site's probably not dependent on it, right?
Yeah, we have a couple.
Right. I think that to me, when the years I worked in enterprise, that was the differentiator to me, is my environment could not run without partnerships from other organizations, IBM, Oracle. It flat out couldn't run because we had these partnerships in
correction
place.
Then 100%. Without Laravel, our entire company would crumble. If Laravel had a sudden fatal bug and we couldn't run Laravel anymore, we would be down and gone.
Issue. That's a platform issue. And again, Laravel, we've already established, isn't an enterprise-ready software because it doesn't offer that support. That was the thing.
That's my problem here.
Let me finish though. I'm trying to differentiate an enterprise project or to a non-enterprise. So you say you're not enterprise, and I'm kind of giving you the ammunition that I agree with you. You don't have this stuff, so you're not. So back to this question of what size is your project, and people saying it's enterprise, I don't understand what that means, because enterprise is not a size. You could have a small application, a small WebSphere application that's running on an Oracle database that you have to have these partnerships in place with both these companies for this thing to run, because that would be an enterprise. That could be an enterprise application, but it could be a very small application in size.
So with that example, if I'm relying on a queue service from Amazon, does that make me an enterprise system?
See, that's more of a service, right? That's a service that you're depending on. You can replace that. Same thing with even the Laravel platform. To Thomas's point, he says if Laravel were to introduce a bug, their environment would go down. That's a platform decision that was made. You decided to use Laravel, which, again, we've established not an enterprise-ready solution. With AWS, it's kind of both ways, right? You can actually purchase enterprise support from AWS. Then yeah, if you're paying for that support and you're using their queuing system, you want to call your application enterprise, then yeah, it's kind of enterprise at that point.
So are you saying that if you have to provide support for your product, then you are enterprise?
I'm saying that is definitely one of the requirements to be considered enterprise ready. I'm not saying you are enterprise. I'm saying if you want to be considered enterprise ready, you have to supply support, enterprise support, which centers around a lot of SLAs, service level agreements, to the people who contract with you, of how that support is managed. Support is key in enterprise. When you say enterprise, you think support. People are paying premium money to support every aspect of the environment. That's what enterprise is. And if you want to be an enterprise company, if Laravel wants to be an enterprise solution, which we've talked about in the past, they have to have that support structure in place. And that can't be send Taylor a telegram, and if you pay him $500, he'll respond to you in the next 24 hours. That's not a enterprise level support. There are SLAs in place, contracts in place. It's very clear.
Vertical scalability.
There's accountability for poor issues. You can be on the hook for your client's failures. So if WebSphere were to go down because of some massive bug that they introduced, the enterprise I was working for at the time had legal recourse against IBM to say, hey, we had this agreement with you guys, this enterprise level agreement. We want compensation to the fact that you brought down our storefront for 2 days. That's enterprise, people. Enterprise is not how many lines of code are in your software. That's not enterprise. That's just a big code base. I work with some massive code bases. They're stupidly written massive code bases. It doesn't make them enterprise.
You're upsetting the office manager.
So Thomas, I agree with Eric on this one. You're just getting screwed left and right on this episode.
I will tell you what. I'll tell you what. I agree too. And here's my issue. are there 624 enterprise-sized Laravel projects as per the survey? And the answer is enterprise size is not a fucking thing. Small, medium, and large are. Measuring bandwidth is. Measuring client hit rates is. Size does not make sense when you start looking at code bases and their interaction with your customers. I run a.
Is that your bone to pick?
That is my bone to pick. Is that this is again enterprises showing up as being a completely arbitrary term for people who want to think their jobs are important.
The next couple questions down, Laravel is mature and verbose enough for enterprise projects. Let's see. 1,743 people agreed with this. That's 1,743 people who don't understand what a fucking enterprise project is right there.
Right.
Medium projects as well. I really think they're using the term enterprise project as large project.
Right, I think so too. I think the word enterprise here is just getting buried as a buzzword that means literally nothing, and that people who believe themselves to be working on enterprise Laravel projects are going to try and get a new job and get laughed out of the interview, which is something that's happened to me. I thought I worked on a huge project. I went to another company and did an interview, and they talked to me about it, and I went through 3 hours of interview with managers, QA, support. I went through this lengthy interview, and finally the senior developer, had the time of his day to sit down with me, and it was just me and him in a room, and he asked me like 3 questions, and I just sort of stared at him. I was like, oh shit, I'm totally not supposed to be here, huh? And he's like, and he looked at me and said, I understand your ambition. Here is a list of the books to read if you want the position that you're applying for, but you're way out of your league, and you just didn't know because you've never seen it before. And I think a lot of people are in that situation where they think they're on quote unquote enterprise because they've never really seen it. There are a lot of small to medium shops.
I've always had a problem with the Laravel's community, their interpretation of enterprise, and it stems to the core. There's plenty of podcasts with Matt, Jeffrey, and Taylor talking about enterprise and kind of, just poo-pooing it, and it's like, I'm like yelling at my phone. It's like, no, you guys don't know what you're saying. Stop talking. You're passing out fake news, bad information. Stop.
But if they were to offer an enterprise level service agreement, they could probably make a ton more money than they're making now.
Oh, I think so. I think
Absolutely.
So too. Well, especially if they'd done it about a year or so ago when the iron was really hot with Laravel. I still think today they could do it because there aren't a lot out there. I mean, there's some that come close. Obviously, Zen and Symfony are the big players when we talk about PHP and enterprise ready. Those guys are the big. Even, again, I'm one of the champions of Cake PHP and the kind of commercial structure that they've put around their framework with DC. Was it DC Cake? I think is what they call it. I don't know if I would categorize them as enterprise ready, but they're kind of further along, in my opinion, further along than Laravel is today, which, that's all up to Taylor. I mean, it's kind of, what he's trying to accomplish and what he's willing to take on. And if he doesn't want, because it's a headache. I mean, trying to live in the enterprise world once you really get there is expensive, and it's a headache, and there's a lot of overhead, and it's fine if that's not what you want to do, but don't say that you're enterprise ready. Then stop saying it. Stop saying that. Can people use Laravel in the enterprise? Sure. There's risk associated with it. Again, as somebody who worked in the enterprise, I had many battles implementing any open source solution. There's all these, caveats and legal issues and blah, blah, blah. And there's every level. So yes, people can use Laravel for in the enterprise in an enterprise company. That does not make it an enterprise ready platform. It just isn't.
So one last observation on this is if you want to see who is filling out this survey, you can scroll down and see the "I'd love it if there were more Laravel" question. Number one is tutorials, which Laracasts exists and is essentially done. And number two is articles, which is the same fucking thing. The very, very last one, with only 296 people responding, is on-site training, which is the only thing in this questionnaire I would consider an enterprise level service.
That's a good example. That's a very good example.
So if you've got 600 and something projects running enterprise Laravel apps, but only 296 people think that there needs to be, let's be fair, some on-site training, because there isn't an on-site training system, then there's 300 people that don't know what enterprise means.
Yeah, exactly.
Thomas, you've redeemed yourself. I agree with you.
That's a good one. And apparently, they 402 people think they want more podcasts, which is idiots.
Yeah, nobody wants. Well, they've heard ours. Ours has been around since the last. That's the thing, is we covered the 2016 Laravel survey.
This was obviously a choose all that apply. I would love it if, and they're just like check.
Exactly.
I
I
want all these things.
The information in the survey is it's pretty much useless given how pointed some of the questions are.
456 people said there's only one person in their business.
Right. Out of
693 people want more online conferences. What?
So there's my bone to pick about the Laravel 2017 survey. And again, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Laravel. It's the bleeding edge framework for PHP. But stop dropping enterprise anywhere near it. It's bleeding edge. It's not enterprise. It isn't.
If you'd like to see the survey yourself, go to laravel-news.com and check it out. I feel like this is a big ad for them.
Is anyone even watching the YouTube comments?
Is there anything going on?
There's nothing there. There's nobody even watching. We didn't post on Twitter. Well, we didn't post anywhere. Nobody knows we're streaming.
And they don't care. It's a double whammy.
One of the bones to pick. One of my bones I like picking. No, wait. The bone.
Roll it back. Start over.
Wait. I want to touch my bone.
Like stroking. Wait, what?
What? Huh? Email. I'm not a fan of email. I hate email. And I've actually been, over the years, that's not true, over the last couple of months, really trying to train myself to only check email a couple times a day. I do it when I wake up in the morning to see if any alerts have triggered that I need to be aware of overnight. And I try to check it again late in the afternoon when my work day's kind of winding down. I don't check emails a lot. But one of the things that's always been out there with emails is this discussion of charging for emails. I don't know if you guys remember this back from the 90s, 2000s. And of course, that's a stupid idea. Huh?
Bill Gates proposed a system
that's
that
true.
looks similar to Ethereum.
Yeah. I came across earn.com, which is essentially that. Like, you charge people to email you. And you actually get charged to reply as well. So the thing about it is you make money. It's like when there's a correspondence going back and forth, you apparently make money off of it. You don't make all the money, of course, but I thought this was interesting. I mean, it's always been one of those things that to combat spam. is if everybody had to pay a penny to send an email, that would be, nothing to an individual sending emails, but that would be a lot of money to somebody trying to send spam. And I thought this earn.com was interesting. I'm like, man, I'm so tempted to actually sign up for this.
Oh God, no.
I know. I'm not. I didn't do it. And you get paid in Bitcoin too. That's the other cool thing about it.
You do not.
No, it's not Bitcoin. I thought it was Bitcoin.
No, you get paid in earn token.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, it's just as good as Bitcoin. You can like buy Whoppers with it.
So's a penny. A penny. If you said, yeah, I earned some Bitcoin today. You say, how much? Well, 1 penny's worth, but it was cashed directly to USD. I have to go out and buy the Bitcoin with it. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's worth anything.
So you don't agree with
this? This is a money grab. This is a shit ICO.
But so what they're showing in their pages of BTC, they're showing an image there. Are they saying that it's equivalent to $20 of BTC? Like the earn coin is equivalent?
It's marketing material. I'm sure it doesn't even actually work right now.
It says you get paid. It says you get paid in Bitcoin, so it works in any country.
It does say that, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they're telling the truth too.
Oh my gosh, Nancy Mason here.
They're a direct competitor for my brilliant idea. What am I supposed to do? Support them?
Wow.
I thought this was interesting. Like, if nothing else, to have that throwaway email address that you sign up for all these lists with and make them pay.
Showcom@gmail.com. That's the one I use.
I gotta see if I actually have that one. I'm not sure. I looked at. It's been a while since I put this on the list. This is one of the things I added to the Trello board. I forget how people actually have to pay. There's a video on here somewhere. I can't find it now though. It might have changed.
Okay, you look for that.
Go ahead.
I've got to take a beer break.
You just took a beer break. You
look
literally just said
we're at 1 hour. No, that was 25 minutes ago.
Has it really been an hour? Are we done?
Can we just end the show?
Is that? I think so. We're an hour in. What is this?
Killing me.
Does he not know how long our show goes? For Christmas, we got to buy the guy a cooler that he can put next to his desk. That in an empty jug, so he can take care of everything
with a funnel. Tell you what.
I heard John. I got some. I got oxycodone prescribed to me, which is actually been helping out tremendously. I got to be honest; it's the first prescription they gave me that really gave me some relief from my pain. It doesn't stop it; like I still feel what hurts where it hurts, but it doesn't throb. It's a lot more manageable.
That's good. So what's with the? We'll talk after when we're not live.
Okay.
Here's how you vet an ICO or any kind of crypto company like this. They will have a founders page. And if you look at the founders,
I've already closed the tab. Now I got to get everything open again. I thought we were done with founders.
And you look at the jobs that they've had or their bragging rights, and their bragging rights don't have anything to do with cryptocurrency, then it's bullshit.
No, you got it. Let's be fair. How long has cryptocurrency been a thing? To this level? I mean,
a lot of the people who are developers in the cryptocurrency community are selling their name to ICOs that they get behind. So when you look at somebody like Vitalik, if there's an ICO and Vitalik says, I'm a primary investor, then that's probably a strong investment because, he's done the legwork to make sure his name is on the line and it counts for something real. When it's 3 people who are all listed as just angel investors and those are your top 3 employees in the company, it's fucking bullshit. Businessmen are good at one thing, and it's creating hype and then selling at the peak of the hype. That is what they do. The best businessmen will create a hype machine, run it to the very top, and then get out while the getting's good. And it says so right here. Ben Horowitz, co-founder at Aberdeen Horowitz, founder CEO of Opsware, sold to HP for $1.6 million. So his biggest achievement is getting out while the getting's good. And he's the #1 listed guy on their what is our company. That's not fucking good. Now, if one of your top guys was co-creator of Coinbase, then yeah, that's got some weight to it. But he has no experience in the crypto sector, and his greatest achievement is selling out. That's
you're an angry individual.
I am. I really am.
He has a good point.
It's been a bad couple months.
Thomas, I agree with you again.
Businessmen, it's inherently slimy because that where they establish their value, and it's not in people, it's in money.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Business owners, different story. Business owners, yeah, good on them. They're working hard, and they might like their employees or might not, might care, might not. But businessmen, people who define themselves as investors.
Why is it going to be businessmen? Why can't it be business people?
I can't get into the systemic problems with society right now. But let's be fair. It is.
So if I keep my 85 cents that I have currently at 0.0001 Bitcoin for a few years, I may have $2 that I can cash out now.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to get more than $5 from this company ever, even as a very active user. Which seems like not enough money to deal with their bullshit. Especially since Facebook exists and is already monetizing me much better than they are.
Oh, dude, did you listen to that podcast I sent you?
What, the one where Facebook's listening to ads?
That's not what the podcast was talking about, dude.
I don't know. What did you send me?
All right, so friend of the show, Jessica, last name something German. My daughter can pronounce it. Big fan of hers. I don't think that's how you pronounce it. It's something else. But I talked about her on the last show. We were sharing podcast listening lists, and Pocket Cast decided to be dweebs and whatever.
I did see
She had tweeted out this podcast she started listening to called Reply All. And specifically, this show about how is Facebook listening to your open mic, not ads, not the signals, but to your open mic.
Yeah, we know they are. No, they've admitted that.
To the show. No, they haven't admitted. Dude, you've got to stop making this stuff up, man. They have not admitted
fake news.
They specifically say that on the show where they've reached out to Facebook and said, "Hey, is this something that's happening?" And they're like, "Absolutely not. That's not happening." And
you have to give the permission to give them access to your mic, don't you?
Yeah. That's one of the things they talk about is how to. They don't talk about it on the show, but they shared a link in the show notes on how to disable the mic in the Facebook app. However,
so here's the thing. In 2014, Facebook's app was using ambient audio to try to establish your location while you were writing a post.
I don't know what you're asking there, but they specifically addressed this issue of whether or not Facebook has a hot mic that they listen to while the app is running to better your experience, and Facebook denied it. But if you listen to the show, the stories that people are telling you are like, and it's funny because there's two of them on the show, and one of them's kind of trying to play the supporter of Facebook. Like, okay, well, in theory they could have done this, and this, and maybe they realized that the mother-in-law had flown in and this, and they put all these endpoints together. But you listen to the stories that these people are telling, and it's like, if that is true, if that really happened, I'm uninstalling the Facebook app from my phone, because there's no way you can convince me that they didn't get that information any other way but listening to a hot mic.
So
you really need to listen to that show. Reply All. I know I'm always pimping other podcasts. I've been criticized by many people. On this podcast, I pimp more podcasts than no other podcast has ever talked about this podcast, ever, with the exception of me talking about this podcast on other podcasts. Nobody else has talked about this. I have probably spoken about every podcast I listen to. So I'm perfectly fine sharing the love from this side out. I'm just like that ugly prom date when nobody wants to share the love back. But Reply All, I think it's going to find its way into my my weekly rotation.
Here is the trick, though. Facebook's response to this hit Reddit, and it was big news for a couple days. And Facebook released a response that instantly got paraphrased and then paraphrased and paraphrased, to the point where their response was completely obfuscated. And I don't know if it was done maliciously or on purpose, but the response from Facebook is only 2 paragraphs. And the response starts off with the first sentence: Facebook does not use your phone's microphone to inform ads or to change what you see in the news feed. Period. They did not say Facebook does not use your microphone. They did not say Facebook is not collecting data. They said, hey, when it comes to ads, we don't do that. But they absolutely, in 2014, confirmed that they run an open microphone when you've got the Facebook app open, and they use it for some data collection. And
so you're saying they got a whole lot of poopy noises in their database.
If you look at the reply on Reply All's website, the second paragraph says, we only access the microphone if you have given our application permission and if you are actively using a specific feature that requires audio. This might include
browsing
recording video.
If they're going to define what features require permission, first off, you can't install the app without giving it permission to the microphone. So that's a bullshit excuse. Second off, when they say it only uses the microphone for authorized uses, that means fucking everything. That means everything they want.
Where's my button to start the music to play this off the stage?
That's whenever you say that, that's
background. Hey, did I kick off Doom and Gloom this week? Woo! I'm Doom and Gloom.
Oh, I started it so early in the podcast, you guys just didn't even notice. Yeah, Facebook's response is that they don't use the collected audio information for advertising. They're completely fucking lying. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
All I'm going to say about it is the proof that it's happening if what people are saying now, again, I don't have collaborating evidence. I have not experienced this myself, and I'm only going off the words of, hey, dude, I saw this, Bigfoot in the woods sort of stories of, hey, we did this and then this happened. It's like, oh, really? It's hard to say, but if any of those stories are true, I'm flipping out. I don't necessarily 100% believe Facebook. I'm not going to say, oh no, Facebook isn't doing that, because they are a company. They're a company that's run on advertising revenue. So of course they're always pushing that envelope. They're always going to push it. But whether or not I'm willing to say that they're listening to Hot Mic right now, that's a pretty serious accusation, and one that has, I feel, legal ramifications as far as invasion of privacy, blah blah blah. I would not openly state I feel that's happening without some hardcore proof that I've seen on my end.
So should I do it then?
Let's do it.
Open up your
Facebook. Listen. Let's do it. Let's do a test. I say we all open up the Facebook app on our phone and have a conversation about Speedos and buying a Speedo, and see if Speedos show up.
Not how that works.
That's exactly how it works. You got to listen to the show. Don't tell me how it doesn't work if you didn't listen to the damn show. That's exactly what they're saying happened.
No, Speedo is a brand. You have to establish
that's exactly
and they will
it.
attach a brand.
Thomas, I swear to freaking God, if you would freaking listen to me, this is how it worked. This is exactly what they did. I say we do this right now. We all open our phones, we all open up our Facebook app, and let's have a 5-minute conversation about needing to buy a Speedo bathing suit or a bathing suit. And let's see if an advertisement shows up on any of our news feeds for bathing suits. First thing we should establish.
Okay, first off,
have any of us got advertisements on our news feeds for bathing suits?
That sounds like 5 minutes way too long.
I actually don't get ads.
Okay.
Pretty efficient ads.
Put your money where your mouth is.
I'll say you're on the right track. However, you're currently in a room where there's an Amazon Alexa listening.
No, I'm not.
There's no listening device?
There's no listening devices in here at all. I'm leaving my office. Everything
if you're going to do this. Here. Now, the issue is consistency. So you have to repeatedly say throughout the day the thing you're looking for.
No, it's not true. No, it's not. Again, you didn't listen to this article. These were obscure statements that were made in passing. The
one I saw was about cat food.
That didn't even come up on the show.
Well, shit. Then we're on different pages.
No, I'm on the right page.
Together.
You're just not listening to me. Let's do it. I'm saying we do it right now.
John, who do you agree with?
Eric in this one.
Because I'm the only one.
God damn it!
Show. Open up.
You had my back all show. You had my back for the whole show.
Yeah.
Now.
The whole show. I think this is paranoia. We
can make podcast
fake news.
We can make podcast history by doing this right now, live on the show.
I'm not doing this. That sounds 5 minutes way too long.
We are absolutely not. I'm not going to talk about Speedos into my phone for 5 minutes on a podcast. That is the worst possible broadcasting idea. We will just, we'll get a pair of great swim trunks and we'll lose 200 viewers.
I'm launching Facebook.
You're going to have 200 to lose 200. I'm
launching Facebook. So I know summer's over, but I could really use a nice pair of Speedos bathing suit.
I want to hear about the Samsung rewards.
And I just need to find a good deal on bathing suits.
This was Thomas.
So if
I saw this on your list.
Good bathing suit price.
Can we please?
I may buy it. I would probably buy it online.
I don't use Samsung.
This happened because you agreed with him.
I'm on a Pixel, so I'd really like to know about the Samsung rewards and what this is all about.
Would be the brand I want.
Hey, honey, can you remind me to go out and get a pair of Speedos later? I keep forgetting to go out and buy them, and I need some kind of bathing suit. And I think a Speedo is the right kind of bathing suit for me. So If you could just remind me
I'm
to go out
sorry.
and count one.
Right now, you can just tune out at this point. The show should be over.
There we go.
Pretty sure the show is over. I'm pretty sure this is the death knell.
November 9th, 2017.
Audience, you're welcome that I wasn't here last week and the show was canceled.
John, you're gonna mess it all up because you didn't do it. But if I get an advertisement for any sort of swimwear in my Facebook feed, I promise you I will screenshot it and tweet it out.
You live in San Diego, though.
I actually have to, but I've already established I've never gotten a swimsuit ad in my feed ever, and it's November. It's November, so there should be no reason for there to be one.
Here's the creepy thing. I'll ask you this, Eric. What if it shows plus size options?
I'm fine with that.
No, how are you fine with that? If it's plus size options, that means.
Oh my God! I just got an advertisement. Free training and tools for Google to help you expand your skills and careers or business. What have we been talking about today?
Now I don't know. Now I'm actually
y'all
lost.
Shut up and listen to me.
Who moved something to the next discussion point?
Me. I was trying to get us off of this topic.
This show's fucking over.
Wait till you listen back and you'll understand why that was there.
We're going to spike when
nobody's listening to me. Happens. That's okay.
Oh, because you have a pixel. Guys,
wait till you listen back. Wait till you listen back.
I will, but I'm not.
See what I was trying to say.
If this goes another 5 minutes, I'm not listening back. We're at a minute. We're at an hour and 22 minutes. Give us the sign off, John.
Really?
No.
Holy crap! How bad was this show that Thomas is asking to end it?
I know, it's crazy. Thanks
I
everyone
have some offline ranting to do.
I'm John Congo.
Holy crap! I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm Tom Rideout.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it speedo.
Take us offline, quick.
How did that happen? I thought we had a good show going.
That was a real